Winter, in my opinion, is the best time of the year to go hiking. The air is crystal clear and you won't be disturbed by many insects in the forest. Here is one of the hiking trails we did near Freiburg in Deutschland. There is a cafe at the end of the walk. Many travelers and ski lovers will go there for a short break, enjoy a piece of German cake and a cup of warm coffee. Kirschstreusel cherry crumble cake has to be one of the most popular ones on the menu. It's also a German classic. We will need a small glass of sour cherries, 175 grams. Drain them and save 1 tablespoon of cherry juice for later. Measure again 5 tablespoons of the juice, about 40 ml. Mix it with 1 tablespoon of vanilla pudding powder or cornstarch until it's dissolved. Heat up the rest of the liquid on low heat until simmer. Remove the pot away from the heat, pour in the starch liquid slowly and continue stirring vigorously to prevent any flour lumps. You can always put it back on low heat and keep stirring until the mixture turns transparent and sticky. Pour back in the liquid and all the cherries we saved earlier. Mix them well until combined and let it cool. Meanwhile, we can work on the streusel. Take a baking tin 20 cm diameter large. Grease it with a thin layer of butter to prevent the cake from sticking. For the sugar crumble, need 175 grams of flour, 100 grams of sugar, 100 grams of cold butter, and 1 whole egg until it's smooth. Take 2/3 of the dough for the base. Unlike your regular pie crust, streusel is relatively soft and sticky, but very easy to work in the cake form, and no need to chill. Use it to cover the bottom and the side of the baking tin. Spread our cool cherry pudding evenly on the bottom of the cake. Then use the rest 1/3 of the dough to cover the top. It doesn't have to be flat nor even. The larger streusel will give you a more crunchy taste. Set the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Bake the cake on the middle rank for about 40 minutes until it turns light brown. Let it cool thoroughly before removing it from the form. You can also serve it with a bit of icing sugar on top. In some part of Deutschland, there is a different kind of cherry cake, Allgäuer Kirschkuchen. Measure 250 grams of flour type 405, 125 grams of cold butter diced, 75 grams of sugar, 2 packs of vanilla sugar, a pinch of salt, half teaspoon of baking powder, and whole egg. Knead it thoroughly to form a smooth dough. Depends on the type of your butter and the size of your egg. The mixture can be quite sticky. Cover it with a plastic foil and let it chill in the fridge for about 30 minutes until the dough is hard. For the filling, measure 5 tablespoons from 500 ml of milk into a separate bowl. Add 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 bag of vanilla pudding powder. Dissolve the sugar and the starch with a whisk. Heat up the rest of the milk on low heat until simmer. Pour in the starch liquid slowly and keep stirring on low heat for about 3 minutes. Once the mixture turns sticky, remove it away from the heat and keep stirring it to prevent any flour lumps. Set aside and let it cool. For the almond topping, melt 60 grams of butter on low heat in a small milk pot. Pour in 5 tablespoons of cream and 100 grams almond sticks. Stir them well until combined and set aside to chill. For this recipe, we need a large glass of sour cherries, 350 grams. Drain them to remove any liquid. We only need the fruits here, but you can also save the juice for some other recipes. Grease the baking tin 26 cm diameters large with a small piece of butter, both on the bottom and the side. Dust the working surface with a bit of loose flour to prevent the dough from sticking. Roll our crust to about 4 cm larger than the size of the tin. Transfer it into the baking tin. Try to fill the bottom and the side evenly. Sprinkle 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs evenly on the bottom. It will absorb some of the fluid from the cherries and the pudding. Prevent the cake crust from getting soggy. Lay our sour cherries on top. Try to spread them evenly. Then our chilled vanilla pudding, you can use a dough cutter to fill in the gaps. The last but not the least, our butter almond mixture. It will turn golden brown and give your cake a crunchy, nutty taste. Set the oven to 180 degrees Celsius and bake it on the middle rank for about 50 minutes. Let it cool in the form for another 10 minutes before removing the form. Let the cake chill entirely before serving. The Allgäuer is creamier but also time-consuming than the streusel. The best thing about cherry cake is that you can make these fruit cakes any season of the year, even in winter. The sourness of the cherries keeps the cakes well balanced and tasty. Did you subscribe yet? If not, click here, click here, click here. Every day watch new videos at 6 p.m. Here are my 2 recommended videos. Thanks for watching. See ya. 谢谢大家。